here at the Sharon Playhouse for Nunsense, run through September 15th. And we have the director here, Teri Gibson, who is joining us. Teri, thanks for stopping by for a few minutes before the show debuts tonight.
Yes, it does. I'm thrilled to be here, too.
So a little bit about you for people listening, a little bit about your background and how you became a director, and did you start off with acting first, or did it? See, that's the great thing about this business is as the longer you're in it, you can reinvent yourself.
You can reinvent yourself, and you learn more and more. The more productions you do, the more you learn. I started off as an actress, singer, dancer, did a lot of dance captain duties, and then moved on to choreography, and through that actually moved to stage management first, which is really when you take a tour out, or when you leave a production once it's completed, the stage manager is somewhat like a director, because you have to keep the production together, and you have to keep the director's vision true. You have to keep the production true to the director's vision. So understanding how to communicate with all the different channels, the actors, the technicians, all of that, it's a great skill for a stage manager, which translates very well to being a director.
You mentioned that about stage manager. I always wanted to act in one thing, and years ago here at the Sharon Playhouse, under Tri-Arts, their first production many years ago, we did The Music Man, and I was asked to. I was lied to. I said they said I could do Marcellus Washburn. It wasn't that big of a part. Oh, I just about strangled my friend who got me into it. But the person who really got me through it was the stage manager. Behind stage, knew I was a novice, never had done it before, was mixed in with people that did do it, and really made my job so much easier.
That's terrific, and that's the thing about it. Stage managers especially really have to be able to do everything. And they really do keep the production together, and they have to understand all the different languages, and especially how to communicate. That's the biggest thing, is the communication and the tying together. But so does a director, and it's just at different parts of the process where those skills are most useful for a stage manager or a director. Putting the show together, unifying the vision, making sure everyone's on the same page, that's the director's communication.
Now, what's your connection with Nunsense?
Nunsense and I go way back. I'm a member of the convent for decades at this point. I first started out with the original off-Broadway company. At one point or another off-Broadway, I played all 5 roles. Mostly, often as the understudy, as we call it, but I also had the contract for 3 out of the 5. So I've had a long association with the convent, and through that, Dan Goggin, the creator, and we hit it off. We had a really good relationship, and I've so enjoyed being able to work with him over the decades, really, at this point, because that was back in the 80s. Sometime in the mid to late 80s, I believe, I joined the Off-Broadway company. And since then, I've been in and out of various Nunsenses. I've been the choreographer for a lot of the later versions. You know, there are many sequels and different versions of it. So I've did a lot of the original choreography for some of those later ones, working with Danny as director. And then other times when Danny can't go out for whatever reasons, he'll just send me and, Teri, you take it and you direct it. So he and I have a really good working relationship. I really enjoy him.
You know, talking to him, what I found out is that he loves his show, not afraid to adapt and change the show, or not afraid also to let smaller theater companies adapt it and move it around as well.
Yeah, and it's very much not an actor-dependent show, because the script is there. It's solid. It's just fun. It's just fun. But it's the kind of a piece where it's not quite what you're used to in traditional musical theater, where you have certain characters that are very well defined in a certain way. This really, you define the characters and you develop your relationships and the arc of the show depending on the actors that you end up with. And that can be different. Sometimes Reverend Mother's more the stern one and Hubert is the crazier one, but sometimes it's just the opposite. It really depends on the actors that you cast. And I think the key to doing this successfully is allowing those actors to really take the part of themselves that fits the closest, and really just being that to the audience, using so much of their own selves and developing the relationships that aren't in the script, the behind the scenes convent love and family.
When I was speaking to Danny and he brought up the longest running show because he didn't consider Fantastics a show, it was a phenomenon. But it's amazing when the parallels of the show, how the show just doesn't go out of date. The show stays constant and current, and also it's enjoyed by people basically from their teens through their 90s. I mean, that is a true, unbelievable success story. And the way it seems like he stumbled into it is, and really how it probably changed his life and a lot of other people's lives, is an amazing story.
Yeah, it truly is. And I mean, he stumbled into it in a way, I guess, but he stumbled into it while being prepared with all of the talent and everything he needed to use the opportunity and really run with it and fly with it. So,
well, that's the foresight that he had. By the way, we're talking about Nunsense, which is on through September 15th here at the Sharon Playhouse. Now you obviously direct more than just Nunsense, right? Do you do other shows as well?
I do. Luckily for me, I've been very fortunate with Nunsense because it is such a hit. I do a lot of Nunsense, directing and choreographing, and that really tends to be the bulk of my work. But I've done a lot of stuff for a group called Theater Sounds, and that's more traditional, a delicate balance, some heavier pieces than Nunsense.
That's probably one of the nicest things about working with Nunsense is that it's topical and yet it doesn't weigh you down. And in the times, I think that's what's been so special about this season here. And it's very, 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 very strange time, not only in this country but throughout the world. To relieve yourself with 2 hours of pure magic and fun is really is what the doctor ordered.
And that is absolutely our goal. We just want people to enjoy themselves and have fun. And yet it's topical and there's certain current references, but it is absolutely just about having fun.
Now, the cast that is here at the Sharon Playhouse, you obviously have worked with them probably a lot?
Yes. Most of the cast here has been in and out with us in many productions throughout the years. Pretty much everyone. Some have done our national tours with us. Various productions. We did one up in Portland, Maine, with much of the same cast. But it's a group. We find, and it really is kind of a family, and we find that when you get involved with a show like this and you understand it, you begin to gel, and that family relationship is very important to the show. So we really enjoy the opportunities we have to recreate that family and bring that family together again. And we've been able to do that here in Sharon, thanks to Robert and Alan.
Nunsense is going to run through September 15th, once again here at the Sharon Playhouse, 860-364-7469, extension 200, or tickets at the box office, the old-fashioned way, where you can call or walk up to it, or online at sharonplayhouse.org. And I guess when you is this your first visit here to the Sharon Playhouse?
It is, yes.
What do you think of our playhouse out here in the woods?
I think it's terrific. I love it. And I love that you can bring theater out to high-quality theater, professional theater. And again, that's a testament to Robert and Alan. This is my first working chance to work with Alan, but I've known Robert loosely for many years. I've worked with him back when he was up as stage manager up at Agunquit, and I was an actor. So again, in the theater world, you do have the good fortune of running into your family over and over again. And I do. I credit Robert and Alan a lot with what they've been able to bring, the quality they've been able to bring to Sharon Playhouse.
They saved the Playhouse, to be quite honest with you. It had a couple of rocky years, and the public instantly accepted them last year. I'm not sure whether they realized how much they were accepted, but I think they realized it this year with the word of mouth and the great reviews that everybody gives them.
Good. They should. They really should.
So what's your next step after this show runs its course?
After this show runs its course, I actually go back to, I live up in the Catskills in New York, and I also have a landscaping business. I design gardens and landscapes and do some maintenance and stuff, so I'll be going into cleaning up for my landscaping business, and then I'm going to spend 2 weeks on an island off the coast of Maine in my kayak.
Now, we're in the Catskills.
I live up in a town called Olive Bridge.
I used to live in Glenford, so I'm very familiar with
You're a rare person who knows Olive Bridge. I'm actually in Samsonville, which is even more detailed.
You know, it's funny, when my first real full-time job in radio was in Kingston, New York, and I lived, like I said, in Glenford, and we had Cookie and Joe were good friends of ours who lived in Olive Bridge. We spent a lot of time in Olive Bridge and around that area. And you know what's great about that area? It's like this area. There's just so many talented people, and there's so much arts that's out there for everybody.
Yes, that's true. There's so many artists. I think artists are drawn to beautiful areas. You know, we want to live in a beautiful place, and a place like Sharon or a place like the Catskills, you get that. You get that beauty which feeds your art.
Well, once again, Nunsense runs through September 15th here at the Sharon Playhouse, 860-364-7469, extension 200, or sharonplayhouse.org. Teri, break a leg, and thanks for spending a few minutes with us.
Thank you so much.